this session, I will continue from the point that we have stopped in the last session. In the last session, if you recall about the things that we have discussed in the last session, we have discussed about the sum of the first n natural numbers, and we have had the proof for it for the summation where r goes from 1 to n. We need to take the summation of r from 1 to n, and at that time we have obtained the summation of first n natural numbers as n divided by 2 times n plus 1. And thereafter we have discussed about the sum of the squares of first n natural numbers, which is denoted as r squared. If we are having the natural number as r, then we are going to obtain the summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. To have the proof for the summation of squares of first n natural numbers, we had considered about the difference of r plus 1 cube and r cube. Therefore, by taking the difference, first we have considered about the difference of r plus 1 cube and r cube. For the expansion of this equation, we have obtained it as expansion of r plus 1 to the power 3. We have obtained as r cube plus 3r squared plus 3r plus 1, and then we had the quantity called minus r cube, then plus r cube and minus r cube was cancelled out, and we have obtained the difference of r plus 1 cube and r cube as 3 times r squared plus 3r plus 1. Then what we had done was we had substituted the values from r is going from 1 to n. It is because we need to obtain the summation of r squared, which is going from 1 to n. Therefore, to have a value or to have this quantity summation of r squared where r is going from 1 to n, we have substituted the values of r starting from 1, and we have done it to r equals n. Now we will continue from the point that we have stopped in the last session. Then what we had done was we had r plus 1 cube, then minus r cube was there, and we had the substitution. And once you do the substitution with the relevant r value, and what we have done was we have obtained n number of equations, and then we have add all those n equations together. Therefore, we saw that there is a pattern of cancellation of the terms. The first term here 2 to the power 3 cancel out with minus 2 to the power 3. It is because now we are going to add all these n number of equations together. Then 3 to the power 3 was there, with minus 3 to the power 3 it was cancelled out. Therefore, we have observed that there is a pattern of cancellation in this way. Therefore, what we have observed was once we are adding all these n number of equations, the quantity remaining was n plus 1 to the power 3. Here, this was what we have observed, n plus 1 to the power 3 minus 1 to the power 3. This was the only quantity remaining from the left hand side of this summation. All the other terms were cancelled out. Then what we need to do is we need to add all these terms. Therefore, apart from adding them in the linear manner, I will take the first set of values. Here we can see it is 3 times 1 squared, 3 times 2 squared, 3 times 3 squared. Likewise, 3 times n minus, here it is 1 squared. Here also 3n squared. It is because we are substituting the value of r equals n minus 1 and value of r equals n in the place of 3 times r squared. Therefore, we have observed this as 3 times n minus 1 to the power 2. Here it was 3 times n square. Now, if you take out the summation of this set of values, what we can observe is we can see 3 is common for all. Therefore, I will keep 3 outside of this summation, and I will write down the remaining terms. Those would be 1 squared, then next one would be 2 squared, 3 squared. Likewise, we'll get this as n minus 1 squared plus n squared. This is the set of values that we are taking as the summation of this set of this set, and thereafter we can obtain the summations. Here it is. Here also we can see that 3 is common for all. Then I will take 3 out of this. Then I will take this as 1 plus 2 plus 3. Likewise, we are having n minus 1, and at the last term we had n. 1, 2, 3, then n minus 1, likewise n. And thereafter we are adding the ones. Here we had the ones in this way. Now what we need to do is we need to obtain the quantity for this. Here we have the quantity as n plus 1 to the power 3. We'll keep it for a while. Here we'll have it as n plus 1 to the power 3. Then minus 1 to the power 3 itself equals to 1. Then this equals to 3 times. Here, instead of 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared, likewise up to n squared, we can simply write this as the summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Once you substitute r equals 1, we'll get 1 squared. Then plus r equals 2 is 2 squared. Likewise, r equals n, we'll get this as n squared. Therefore, for the quantity inside the bracket, we can consider it as summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n, and we have to consider the 3 times of that quantity, and then we have to add the quantity. The second term was obtained as 3 times. Here we have the natural numbers, first n natural numbers 1 2 3 up to n. Therefore we can consider this as the summation of the first n natural numbers, and this can be taken as summation of r, where r is going from 1 to n. And then we have to consider about the summation of ones. If you see about the summations, here we can see that altogether we have considered n number of equations. Therefore we have altogether n number of ones. Once you add ones for n number of times, we'll add the value as n. It is n times 1. It is simply as if you are adding 1 plus 1 plus 1, you will get it as 3. It is because here we had 3 terms. Therefore, if you are repeating it for n number of times, if you are repeating it for n number of times, if you are having altogether n number of terms, then we'll get this summation as n. That is why we are getting n here. Now what we need to do is we need to obtain the quantity for this summation of r squared. It is because this is what we are going to find out. We need to find out the summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. That was identified as Sn. Now what we are going to do is we are going to isolate this term, and we are going to send all the other terms to the other side of the equation. It is because this is the quantity that we need to find out, and the next thing we need to do is we need to find out the summation of r, where r is going from 1 to n. When we are discussing about the summation of first n natural numbers, we have identified the summation of first n natural numbers as n divided by 2 times n plus 1. This was the summation that we have obtained. It was considered as summation of r. Now we have obtained the similar quantity like that. Therefore, instead of summation of r, what we can take is n divided by 2 times n plus 1. Now we can have the appropriate substitution to obtain the answers. Since we need to take all the terms to one side, therefore I will isolate this r square, the term with r square in the right hand side, and all the terms will taken for the left hand side of the equation. Then we'll get this quantity as n plus 1 to the power 3 minus 1 and this will become 3 times summation of r going from 1 to n r, then plus n becomes minus n, and in the right hand side we'll get this quantity as 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Now instead of summation of r, what we can do is we can consider about the quantity that we have obtained at the previous stage. Summation of r was taken as n divided by 2 times n plus 1. Here we can take this as n divided by 2 times n plus 1, and minus n is equal to 3 times of r squared, where the summation of r squared going from 1 to n. Now we need to obtain, or we need to have a solution for this. Apart from expanding this equation, I will try to obtain a quantity which is common for all. Therefore, I will take here it is n plus 1 to the power 3. Then I will write the next term, it is 3 times n divided by 2. And here also we can see n plus 1. And I will take minus out of this n and 1. Therefore, I can take this as minus times n plus 1. It is equal to 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Now I will take n plus 1 out of the all three terms of the left hand side. If I take n plus 1 out of all three terms, then the quantity remaining would be n plus 1 to the power 2, since 1 n plus 1 was taken out, then minus 3n divided by 2. Here we have taken this n plus 1, therefore the quantity would be equal to minus 1, equals to 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Now we'll take the common denominator, and we'll have the expansion of this bracket as well. Here we'll get n plus 1, and if you get the common denominator, we are getting 2 here. Then 2 times n plus 1 squared is expanded, then we'll get it as n squared plus 2n plus 1. Then we are having minus 3n, then minus 1. Once we get the common denominator, it will become as minus 2, and it is equal to 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Now we can take this 2 out of this bracket, therefore we can take it as n plus 1 over 2, and once we multiply the bracket, we'll get this as 2n squared plus 4n plus 2 minus 3n minus 2 equals to 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. We can cancel out plus 2 with minus 2, and we can see the quantity that the remaining would be 2n squared, and the summation leads to the value as 2n squared plus n is here. Then we'll get it as 3 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Now we'll take the common terms out. Here we can take n out of the bracket. Then we'll get this as n plus 1 times n times 2n plus 1 is equal to summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n. Since we need to obtain a quantity for summation of r squared, we have to divide both sides by 3. Then dividing both sides by 3 leads to the value as summation of r squared, where r goes from 1 to n equals to, here I will take n first, I will take n out of this, then 2, and here we are dividing both sides by 3, then this will become 6, then n plus 1 and 2n plus 1. Therefore, this was the quantity that we need to obtain. It is the summation of r squared. Therefore, this is what we have named as Sn. Then we can say that therefore Sn equals to summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n, is equal to n divided by 6 times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1. Therefore, this is what we are taking as the summation of the squares of the first n natural numbers. Then we can see that under the miscellaneous sequences that we have considered, we have already discussed about the summation of first n natural numbers in the previous session, and in this session we have discussed how to obtain the summation of the squares of the first n natural numbers. Therefore, we have obtained the summation of r squared, where r is the natural number we are considering. Then it was given as n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 divided by 6, and this is the answer that we have obtained as well. We will move for obtaining an equation for the summation of cubes of the first n natural numbers. Here, what we need to do is we need to obtain the summation of the cubes of the first n natural numbers. If you are denoting natural number as r, then what we need to do is we need to obtain the summation of r cubes, where r is going from 1 to n. To obtain this quantity, what we need to do, what we are considering is we are going to consider the difference of the power 4 in the terms of r plus 1 and r. By taking consideration of the quantity r plus 1 to the power 4, here we'll consider r plus 1 to the power 4 minus r to the power 4, we are going to obtain the summation of the cubes of the first n natural numbers. Here we are consider the quantity r plus 1 to power 4 minus r to the power 4. For the easiness of calculation, we will take this as the same way that we have considered. Therefore, first we will try to expand the power 4 terms and try to obtain an equation. By the equation that we are obtaining, we'll try to obtain the summation of r cubes. Now we can use the concept of the Pascal triangle. If you recall about the Pascal triangle, here we had 1, then next was 1 2 1, then 1 3 3 1, then 1 4 6 4 1. Therefore, when we are expanding the equations, then we can expand in the equations in this form n plus 1. We can directly use the Pascal triangle. Then we can take here it is n equals 2, then the power equals 2, when the power is 2, when the power is 3, when the power is 4, we have to consider this. If you see about the things that we have discussed previously, apart from discussing about the Pascal triangle, we have directly used them, these coefficients. Uh, Here we have to consider about the power 4, then we are directly using the values or the digits obtained from the Pascal triangle 1 4 6 4 and 1. Then we can consider about this calculation r plus 1 to the power 4 minus r to the power 4. First, I'll expand the r plus 1 to the power 4. This will result r to the power 4 plus 4 times r cube plus 6 times r squared plus 4 times r plus 1. This is the expansion of r plus 1 to the power 4, and here we can see that minus r to the power 4 as well. Then we can cancel out r to the power 4 with minus r to the power 4, and we can have the values as r plus 1 to the power 4 minus r to the power 4 equals to 4 times r cube plus 6 times r squared plus 4 times r plus. Now, same as the previous calculation, the procedure that we have followed in the previous calculation, here we'll start the substitution of the values. Now we can see that r to the power 3 is there. If you can have the summation of these values from 1 to n, we can obtain the relevant quantity or the necessary quantity for us. Therefore, we'll have the substitutions. First, we'll substitute r equals 1. R equals 1, then we'll get 1 plus 1 to the power 4. It is 2 to the power 4. Then minus, again here we'll get it as 1 to the power 4. Then here it is 4 times 1 to the power 3 plus 6 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 1. Then r equals 2. 2 plus 1 to the power 4. 3 to the power 4 minus 2 to the power 4 equals 4 times 2 cube plus 6 times 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 1. R equals 3. Then we'll get here 4 to the power 4 minus 3 to the power 4 equals 4 times 3 to the power 3 plus 6 times 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 1. Similar manner, if you follow the substitutions, here we'll have the substitution of r as n minus 1, where r equals n minus 1. Here we'll get n minus 1 plus 1, we'll get n to the power 4 minus, here we'll get n minus 1 to the power 4 equals to 4 times n minus 1 to the power 3 plus 6 times n minus 1 to the power 2 plus 4 times n minus 1 plus 1, and as the last value of substitution we'll take r equals, and it is because what we need to obtain is we need to obtain the summation of r cube, where r is going from 1 to n. That is why we are substituting r starting from 1 and ending up at the value n. Then we'll get this value as n plus 1 to the power 4 minus n to the power 4 equals, here we will get this value as 4 times n cube, then 6 times n squared plus 6 times n plus 1. Now what we need to do is we need to add all these n number of equations together. Once you are trying to add these equations, we can see that there is also a cancellation pattern. Plus 2 to the power 4 cancel out with minus 2 to the power 4. Then plus 3 to the power 4 cancel out with minus 3 to the power 4. In the similar way, we can have the cancellations. Likewise, we can see that n to the power 4 is also cancel out with minus n to the power 4 once we add these n number of equations. Therefore, in the left hand side of this equation, the quantity that we can see as the remainings, here we can see it as n plus 1 to the power 4 minus 1 to the power 4. we can see the remaining quantities are n plus 1 to the power 4, and here we can see minus 1 to the power 4. Then same as the previous method or the previous calculation, we can see the 4 is the value 4 is common for all the terms. Then we'll take 4 out of these and we'll have the summation. It is 1 to the power 3, 2 to the power 3, 3 to the power 3. In this way we had the value as n plus 1 to the power 3 and n to the power 3. And then we have to have the values. It is 6 times. We are having 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. This way n minus 1 squared plus n squared. And then the next set of values, it is here should be 4. Mistake has done. Then we have to have the values is plus 4 times 1, 2, 3, n minus 1, and here we can have it is the summation of ones for n number of times. You can see that n number of ones, then we can take this quantity as 1. Now we will try to simplify these quantities according to the previous results that we have obtained. We can substitute them as well. In the left hand side of the equation, we will get this as n plus 1 to the power 4 minus 1 to the power 4 itself equals to 1. Then we can see instead of 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube up to n cube, what we can substitute is we can say this is equal to the r cube, where r is going from 1 to n. Then plus 6 times summation of r squared, where r is going from 1 to n, plus 4 times summation of r, where r is going from 1 to n, and then we can see it is the summation of 1, where 1 is where we are having a number of terms, then we can take it is equal to n. Now what we need to obtain is we need to obtain a value for summation of r cube, where r is going from 1 to n, but already we had the values for summation of r squared and summation of r. In the previous calculations we have obtained the equations for for the summation of square terms and the summation of natural numbers as well. Then we can have the values without the expansions. I will try to have this proof. I'm taking all the terms to the left hand side of this equation. Here we'll have this value as it is minus 6 times summation of r squared minus 4 times summation of r, where r goes from 1 to n. This plus n becomes minus n, and we can see that the quantity is 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Therefore, now we'll try to have the substitution for r squared and r using the equations that we have obtained previously. Then I will take n plus 1 to the power 4, and I will take this minus 1 here. I will write it later. Then we'll take it is minus 6 times. Instead of the summation of r squared, we can see it is equal to n divided by 6 times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1. Then next quantity it is minus 4 times summation of first n natural numbers. We will take it as n divided by 2 times n plus 1. And here we can see minus n, and I have missed this minus 1, therefore I will write it here. And we can see the quantity in the right hand side of the equation as summation of r cube, where r is going from 1 to n. Now what we are going to do is we are trying to find out n plus 1 term. Therefore, instead of writing this minus n minus 1, I will replace it using this. Instead of having minus n minus 1, I will write this as minus times n plus 1. It is because I will try to take n plus 1 out of this equation. Now I have not make any harm. It is because here we had minus n minus 1. What I have done was I have simply taken this minus sign out of these two terms. Then the remaining was minus times n plus 1. Now we can take n plus 1 from n plus 1 out from all the terms. Here we are getting n plus 1 out. Then we can see n plus 1 to the power 3 is there. 6 and 6 cancel out. Then minus n times 2n plus 1. Thereafter, we can see it is 4 and 2 cancel out with 2. It is minus 2 times n. Here, the remaining quantity was 1. It is because n plus 1 was taken. It is equals to 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Here also now we'll try to take n plus 1 out, but according to the equation we had here, we are having the multiplication of this bracket with n. We'll have that simple calculation and we'll see whether we can take another common out of this bracket. It is because if we are expanding this cube, the n plus 1 to the power 3, then it will make complex our calculation. Therefore, without making our calculation much more complex, I will try to simplify this. Then we'll see it is multiply the value 2n plus 1 with minus n. Here we'll get it as 2n squared minus n, then minus 2n minus 1 equals to quantity 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Now what we can see here is we can have n plus 1 to the power 3, and I take all these minus terms out and I will have the calculation. Minus sign taken out, then we'll have 2n squared minus n minus 2n altogether minus 3n, but minus sign taken out, then plus 3n will be here. Minus sign has already taken out, then we can see plus 1 is here. 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Now we can factor out this. Here we can see it is n plus 1, then n plus 1 to the power 3 minus. If you factor out this, then you will get this as n plus 1 times 2n plus 1. You can check for the multiplication of the brackets. These two quantities will leads us to the expression 2n squared plus 3n plus 1, which equals to 4 times the summation of r cubes. Now we can see that n plus 1 is again common for these two terms. Then another n plus 1 is taken out. Altogether we are having n plus 1. There are two terms like that. Then we are having n plus 1 to the power 2. It is because already another one n plus 1 has taken out. Then here we are having the quantity as 2n plus, which is equal to 4 times summation of r It goes from 1 to n r to the power 3. Now there is no any other solution other than expanding this, the power. Then I will take n plus 1 to the power 2 here, n plus 1 into n plus 1. Then we'll get this as n squared plus 2n plus 1. And once you have this bracket, it is 2n minus 1. This is equal to 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Now we can see plus 2n with minus 2n cancel out, plus 1 with minus 1 cancel out, and the quantity that we can see in the left hand side is now it is n squared times n plus 1 squared equals 4 times summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n. Now we need to obtain an answer for summation of r cube. Therefore, I have to divide both sides of this equation by 4. Then we'll get this as n squared, n plus 1 squared divided by 4 equals to summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to 8. Now we can take all these powers as a single one. Then we can take this quantity as it is n times n plus 1. 4 can be also written as power 2. Therefore, this is written as n times n plus 1 over 2 to the power 2 summation r goes from 1 to n r to the power. Therefore, this is what we need to obtain. It was Sn. We have defined Sn as summation of r cube, where r goes from 1 to n, was equal to n divided by 2 times n plus 1, and we have to consider the second power of this entire quantity, and this is the equation that we are used to obtain the summation of the cubes of first n number of natural numbers. Here we can see that we have obtained the summations for the miscellaneous sequences that we have considered: sum of first n natural numbers, sum of the squares of first n natural numbers, sum of the cubes of first n natural numbers. Now we will discuss about the convergence of a sequence. Suppose that an is a sequence which is given for us, and when n goes to infinity, or if we are simply say that if the limit of n goes to infinity, if an exists and it is a finite value, then we say that the sequence an is a convergent sequence. It is simply like that. Suppose that if you are having the sequence as an, and if you have a finite value for the limit of n goes to infinity, then if this gives a finite value, then we say that the sequence, we can say that the sequence an is convergent. Otherwise, if it is not a finite value in the sense, if the limit as the limit of n goes to infinity, if n does not exist, or if you are getting the value as infinity, then we say the sequence is divergent. Therefore, this is how we are obtaining the sequence is convergent or sequence is whether divergent. Therefore, if the sequence is convergent, if it is not convergent, we can simply say that it is divergent. It is because if you are having a finite value for the quantity, then and there only we can say that the sequence is convergent. But in the next situation, it means that if it is not a finite value or does not exist, then we can say that sequence is not convergent, in the sense it is divergent. But in some scenarios we can find out as n goes to infinity, the sequence goes to not to a finite value, or it may be the value with one value with at the one time it gives a positive value, but for the next value if it gives a negative value, it is quite like plus infinity and minus infinity. If it is plus infinity and minus infinity, again we are saying the sequence is divergent sequence. Therefore, if a sequence is a convergent sequence, then there exists only one value for the limit of an where n goes to infinity. For any other scenario, we'll say the sequence is a divergent sequence. Now we will see about the properties of these convergent sequences. Here it is considered that AN and BN are both convergent sequences. If these are convergent sequences, what we know is as the n goes to infinity, AN has a finite value as well as BN has a finite value. Therefore, if you add or if you need to have the addition of these two sequences or the subtraction of these two sequences, and it will be also a convergent sequence. It is because if you are considering about the limit as n goes to infinity, an plus or minus bn, it is the addition or the subtraction of the given two sequences. We can consider it as the addition or the subtraction of the limits of these two sequences given. Therefore, what we know is if the an and bn are both convergent, we know that this value gives a finite value as well as the latter part of this equation gives a finite value. Therefore, addition or the subtraction of two finite values again gives a finite value. Therefore, if you are combining two convergent sequences by addition or subtraction, again we will obtain a sequence which is said to be a convergent sequence. The next property is if you are having a sequence, having a convergent sequence, and if you are obtaining a new sequence by multiplying the existing sequence by an integer, then again we'll get a get a convergent sequence there as well. Here we can see that if we are having c times a, and it means that the existing sequence is multiplied with an integer c, and if you are taking the new sequence or the limit of this new sequence as n goes to infinity, it can be considered as the c times, it is the integer times limit of the sequence as n goes to infinity. Here the fundamental rule of the limits, which will be discussed later for you, is used here. But what we know is an is a convergent sequence. Therefore, we'll have the limit as n goes to infinity. N would be a finite value, then finite value multiplied with the constant or this integer c. Again, we'll get a finite value. Therefore, we can say that this limit exists and it is a finite value. Then we can say that if you are obtaining a new sequence by multiplying the existing convergent sequence by multiplying by an integer or a constant, then the new sequence will be also a convergent sequence. Suppose that if you are considering about the third property which is related to these two sequences. Here we have identified that AN and BN are both convergent sequences. Therefore, if you are obtaining the new sequence by multiplying the existing sequences, then the new sequence will be also a convergent sequence. Here we have the value, it is limit as n goes to infinity an times bn. It is because the new sequence as obtained by multiplying the existing two sequences. Therefore, an times bn has to be considered. Then this can be considered as limit of an as n goes to infinity and limit of bn as n goes to infinity. Therefore, if you consider the multiplication of these two, then we can have this as according to the theories of the limits. Then we'll take the multiplication of two finite values. Again, we'll get a finite value. Therefore, if you are obtaining a new series by multiplying obtain a new sequence by multiplying the two existing sequences which are said to be convergent sequence, the new sequence will be also a convergent sequence. Then if you are obtaining the new sequence by taking the division of or taking the quotient or the ratio of two sequences, it is given as an divided by bn. Here also we will get another sequence, the new sequence, and it can be considered as the limit of an as n goes to infinity divided by limit of bn as n goes to infinity. Here the concepts of limits has used. Then using this concept, we can take this the division of two finite values, and again we'll get the new sequence as a convergent sequence. But there is another condition: the sequence which is considered as the denominator of the quotient should not be equal to 0. If this value gets the value as 0, then we cannot say that the new sequence is a convergent sequence. Therefore, if and only if it is provided that the limit of bn as n goes to infinity is not equal to 0, even though it is a finite value, it should not be equal to 0. If this equal to 0, the new sequence will not be a convergent sequence. It is because it will have the value as infinity. In the sense, the new sequence will be a divergent sequence. Therefore, if you need to obtain the new sequence by taking the ratio of two sequences, then it will be also a convergent sequence. But but it will happen if the sequence taken at the denominator is a convergent, but it is not converged to a value 0. But other than the value 0, we can use any value as the converge or the value which is convergent to any other value. Then we can take this as the new sequence, and it would be a convergent sequence. And here, if you are considering about the pth power of any given sequence, then if new sequence is obtained by considering the pth power of uh, an existing sequence, then if the existing sequence is a convergent sequence, the new sequence will be also a convergent sequence. It is because of taking the concepts of limit. If the limit of an to the power p as n goes to infinity can be written as limit of an as n goes to infinity, and we have to take the pth power of that value. Therefore, here we can get a finite value. Then pth power of any finite value is again a finite value. Therefore, we can say that the new sequence is also a convergent sequence. Then if the new sequence is obtained by taking the modulus of the existing sequence, then we can say that if the limit as n goes to infinity, the modulus of n equals to 0, then we can say that the limit of an as n goes to infinity, it is also equal to 0. Therefore, these are the properties that we are discussing under convergence of a sequence. Now we will try to find out whether the following sequences are convergent or divergent. Therefore, what we have discussed was if we are having the sequence as an, and if the limit of an as n goes to infinity, if this is a finite value, then we told such sequences as convergent sequence. Otherwise, if it is not a finite value or existent finite value, it means that even though it is exist, but if it is infinite value, it is quite as infinity, then we are saying such sequences as the divergent sequences. Or else if as n goes to infinity, if the sequence goes to plus and minus n's, not to a single value, not to a finite value, it will be the, if the value is varying, then we can say that the sequence, the such sequences are divergent sequences. Therefore here three exercises has provided, and now we'll try to find out the given sequences are convergent or divergent. Now we will discuss about the finding out how these sequences are convergent or divergent. Therefore, the first sequence is given as Tn equals 3n squared minus 1 over 10n plus 5n squared. Here we can see, if I write it, here, we can we are discussing about the convergence of sequence. Therefore, we had the equation as the sequence as 3n squared minus 1. We had the first equation of the first sequence. It is Tn equals 3n squared minus 1 minus over 10n plus 5 n square. Here what we need to do is we are saying if we are having a sequence as an as n goes to infinity, if this exists as a finite value, then we say such series as convergent series. Therefore, now what we need to do is we need to find out what is the value of Tn as n goes to infinity. Instead of an, the sequence an, now we have the sequence as Tn. Then what we need to do is we need to find out the value of Tn as n goes to infinity. In a situation like this, what we can do is here we are having the power of n, then we can divide the entire or the terms of the entire equation by the highest power that you can see in this equation. Therefore, we can see the highest power of this equation as n squared. Therefore, I'll try to divide all the terms by n squared. Then I will get this as 3n squared divided by n squared minus 1 divided by n squared over 10n divided by n squared minus 5n squared divided by n squared. If we can see the powers of n, the simplest way that we can identify of the limit of such a sequence as n goes to infinity, we can use this technique as n goes to infinity. Then what we have to do is we have to divide the all the terms of the given expression by the highest order term, or we can simply divide by the highest power of the term which appears in the sequence. Here we can see n to the power 2 is the highest power that we can see inside this equation. Therefore, we can divide all these terms by the n squared. Then what we get is here, apart from this, we need to consider about the limit of this as well. Here we have to say limit as n goes to infinity. Therefore, we can write that as limit as n goes to infinity. If you solve these divisions, we'll get 3n squared divided by n squared. Here it is 3 minus 1 over n squared divided by, here it is 10n over n squared, it is 10 over n minus, we'll get 5 here. Now we have to set the value of n to infinity. But what we know is, if you are dividing a quantity by another value, if the quantity in the denominator is becoming large, then we know that the entire answer becomes small. It is quite as this. Suppose that if you are dividing 1 by 10, you will get the answer as zero point 0.1. If you are making the value in the denominator as a large value, it is 1 over 100, you have had a large value in the denominator, then this will become 0.01. Now you can see that the final answer is now smaller than the previous answer. If you are furthermore making the denominator much more larger, 0.001. If it is 10,000, you will get. Now you can see that the values are becoming smaller, as well as they are making much more closer to zero as well. Therefore, if n goes to infinity, if n goes to infinity, if n goes to infinity, 1 over n becomes 0. It is because now you have observed that as the value of the denominator becomes 0, becomes larger, then the final answer becomes 0. But if you are having the next case is, if you are having a constant value, it is not affected by the variable. It is because if we had 3 and 3x, suppose that if you are substituting x equals 1 here, there is no effect from this constant by this value of x equals 1. Even for x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, or whatever value, this stands as 3. But if we are having it is 3 times x, if it is x equals 1, this will become 3. If x equals 2, then this will become 6. If x equals 3, then this will become 9. Therefore, since we can see a variable inside this, we have to consider about the value of the variable. Otherwise, if it is a constant, the value of the variable does not affect on this constant. Then by combining these two concepts, we'll take the limits. Here we'll try to take the limits of these terms separately. If we are considering the limit of n goes to infinity, here we are having 3, then minus limit n goes to infinity, we'll have 1 over n squared, then limit n goes to infinity, 10 over n minus limit n goes to infinity. These are the values that we have considered. We had, it is because now we have to consider the limit of this entire expression. Without taking the expression as at once, I will have the limits for the terms separate. Now we can see that 1 over n square, 1 over n square, where n goes to infinity, we have identified that if the quantity goes to infinity, we'll get this part as 0. Therefore, we can say this quantity goes to 0, as well as here also 10 divided by n, even though whatever value that we are having, if you are having this as a large value, then we can say this is also equal to 0. But what we have observed was, if it is a constant, it will not affected by the value of the variable. Therefore, this will remain as 3, and here we are having 3 minus 0. Here we are having 0, then minus 5 itself equals to minus 3 over 5. Now we can see that it is a finite value. Therefore, we can say Tn equals 3n squared minus 1 over 10n plus, here I'll consider this as minus. It is because the entire calculation was considered this by taking as minus. Therefore, I'll take this as 10n minus 5n squared is a convergent sequence. Now we can see that it is a convergent sequence. The next example I am taking, if Tn is given as minus 1 to the power n divided by n. Here also we need to find out whether it is convergent or divergent. Here we need to find out what will happen to this sequence as n goes to infinity. Then we can take it is the limit of the sequence as n goes to infinity. This minus 1 to the power n divided by n. Now we know that 1 to the power n, for whatever value we are having, this as 1. But 1 divided by, again with the infinity, we can take it is 1 to the power n divided by 1 to the power n divided by infinity divided by n. But if n goes to infinity, we know that it is again divided by 1 over very large value, in the sense this becomes 0. Therefore, if it is 1 to the power n, then we have this. But if you consider about this 1 to the power n, suppose that without thinking about this infinity, if we are considering this sequence, here we will get this as, if it is 1 to the power n, if you try to write down it from n equals 1, here we will get it as 1 minus 1 to the power 1 over 1. Then next value is minus 1 to the power 2 over 2, minus 1 to the power 3 over 3, likewise minus uh, 1 to the power 4 over 4. But if you see about this series, here you will get minus 1 over 1. But next value is plus 1 over 2. Then it is minus 1 over 3. Then plus 1 over 4. Likewise, we'll have this sequence in minus 1 half, then minus 1/3, plus 1/4, likewise. Therefore, now if you draw this sequence, what you can see is it is starting from minus 1, then it in the next value it goes to half, then it goes to 1/3, then it goes to 1/4, then it is minus 1/5. Likewise, for whatever value at the end it goes to 0. As n goes to infinity, we have this value goes to 0. Therefore, by thinking on this, we can say this sequence is also a convergent sequence. But if you have simply this minus 1 to the power n, we'll discuss it in the next example. Here, if it is divided by n as n goes to infinity, it has a finite value, and we can say it is a convergent series, even though we had this minus 1 to the power n. But if you are considering about the sequence as Tn is given as minus 1 to the power n. Suppose that you are having minus 1 to the power n. If you take in the limit as n goes to infinity, the value of Tn, we will get it is limit of n goes to infinity minus 1 to the power n. Then what we can take this series as, if it is n equals 1, we'll get it as minus 1. If n equals 2, we'll get plus 1. Then again minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1. Then if you draw this in a graphical representation, starting from here, I will take not the 0, here I'll take it as 1. If it is 1, then it is start from here, then goes up to plus 1, again minus 1. then we are not getting a getting a convergent value. It is not meeting the x-axis. Even though it goes to infinity, it will remain with the same pattern. Therefore we can, as soon as we see that, we cannot see that it is going from plus 1 to minus 1 only. There is no any sense of having or any scenery of going to 0. Therefore we can again say that this sequence is a divergent sequence. But in the previous one, as n goes to infinity, we saw that it is becoming to 0 at the value of n goes to, or at the value of n is equal to infinity. Then we'll take this as 0. Therefore we can consider the previous one as convergent. But if you simply take this minus 1 to the power n, it would be a divergent series. This is all what I need to discuss for this session, and thank you all for your participation.